Hey, good evening or afternoon or whatever you want to call it. It just depends on where you are. It's evening somewhere. It's afternoon here. It's early afternoon somewhere else. It's nighttime somewhere else. So, hey.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Absolutely, we can all dig it. This is Hammer Away, and as you can see right here, we got a Midnight Devil going to be coming in here. Spade Morris. I got a hold of him and just a little earlier, and I was like, I could really use an update on the Midnight Devils and see what's going on. So I know that they've finished up recording, so they finished that up, and I've been in touch with Cher Ross about getting together on the show here, which actually I'll show you something here in a minute. But before I do anything else, here we go. What is up, Sam?
Hello.
Hey, Carrie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. Not as lovely as you, but I'll make it.
Hey.
It's just the way it is.
Depends on who you ask, probably.
I like that, Stu.
You're more than welcome to use that at any time. In fact, I stole it from a buddy of mine. So how's everything going? Nice shirt.
Thank you very much. My shirt?
Mine's got the club.
You got Loverboy. What do you have, Carrie?
Mine's the club.
Ah,
The
there you go.
Club.
The strip club.
I got me some Priest.
Oh, yes. Is that a new?
Yeah, it's brand new. Yeah, we went
Very
and saw the show, and then I ordered the shirts. So
Okay.
you know,
It's a smart way to do it.
they're expensive.
Yeah.
They are.
I'm having a tough time with that, but I've put it upon myself to do some research, and you could actually help me with that too. We'll talk a little bit, off show in a couple of days.
Off the record.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it a little bit because I do need to find out. I don't like to just spout off and just go blah, 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 blah. I've got a band, but we don't tour. I don't do t-shirts yet. I don't do any of that. So, and I don't do vinyl. I don't do cassettes. I don't do CDs. So
Not yet.
So I don't know what that stuff costs. I don't know what the recoup is on that and why certain things, why when I want to buy a brand new copy of the new Judas Priest on vinyl, which as we know, when we were growing up, I'd pay, let's just say anywhere from on the reg, anywhere from $5.99 to, let's just say $10.99. Depends on what you had. $10.99 to $12.99 if you're buying Kiss Alive 2 or
Double disc. It's a double disc.
yes, a double album. So now I'm looking at a Judas Priest record. I'd love to get the new one, but it's $90 fucking dollars.
90, that's a little steep.
And then they have another version. They have like 3 versions. That's the tough part.
Of course.
So if you want to buy 3 of them, let's just say you're gonna go, okay, I'm just gonna buy them all because I am the world's biggest Priest fan.
That's what they're banking on.
Yeah.
That's what they're banking on. And
Yep.
One of them is 90, one of them is 40, one of them is 50. You're like, okay, $180 for one record.
I'll tell you this. I got a good story, Stu.
Please.
Okay,
Please.
so when the new record was coming out, my buddy, who was our tour manager over in the UK, his name's Pete Newdeck, a great drummer, singer, and all around amazing studio. What do you want to say? Engineer, producer, everything like that. He got his own studio. And so when he goes, don't tell anybody this. And of course I told everybody because it's such a big deal. But he's friends with Andy, the guitar player.
Wow.
Right. And the producer, the Judas Priest producer. So before the record came out, on the down low, they had Pete work on some backing vocals and mix and mastered. And so he sent Carrie and I like a pre copy of what was it? Trial by Fire and Panic Attack.
Yes.
And I was like, these songs are so good. The choruses are huge. It was amazing. I was like, instantly, I love the songs. And having my buddy on it just really like sealed the deal. Great songs.
dude, that wow.
Yeah. So we were just like listening in the car going, these are incredible.
I am so pleased with how they've done their career, right? I mean, I'm not the only thing that threw me, the only time I was a little put off was when they did Point of Entry. And why we ever got that album cover, I don't know.
Things got a little weird.
Again, it looks like a Pink Floyd album cover.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know why we didn't get the cool cover that they had on it in the UK. And I didn't understand the record. I get it now, but it was.
What year did that come out?
1981.
Oh, 81.
Yeah.
It was a weird time.
Yeah, you're fresh off British Steel.
Yeah.
And they put that out.
Yeah.
You're like, oh wow, wow. Because bam, man, you hit it on British Steel. You had pop metal tunes, 2 of them.
Yep.
That hit big, still big. So much so.
Parental Guidance, was that on British Steel too?
What's that?
Parental Guidance, that was on British Steel?
No, that's on Turbo. They had Living After Midnight and Breaking the Law.
Huge.
And every other frickin' song on that record is amazing. And they played, I couldn't believe it. They played Steeler live on
nice.
the tour. I flipped out. I was up banging my head. I was looking around. I'm like, come on, people. Forget it. I don't care who I'm rocking right now. I'm in. That and Saints in Hell. When they played that, I flipped out. I'm sorry. Not Steeler. Is Rapid Fire.
Oh yeah. Deep cuts.
Oh my God. So it's just so beautiful. But I'm so happy. You know, they even did Nostradamus, and people can say whatever they want about that, but I'm going to do a deep dive into that again to understand it better.
I love your Priest nerddom.
Oh, dude.
It's really cool. I love Priest too. I absolutely adore. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to have some glasses on hand here so I can put them on and push them up when I'm talking about Priest.
How great was the Halford? The Halford book was so good.
I have it, and I've still to read it yet.
It's really, really good.
That's awesome. Because he put out a second one then, right?
I don't know.
I think he put out Confess, and now he's got another one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So but I've been so happy with their career, and these last 2 albums, everybody here has heard it before. I did a playlist. I put them together. I did track 1, track 2, track 2, track 3, starting with Firepower, and then I just alternated between the 2 albums. It makes a great double album if you want to do that on your end. There's only one thing. Do a check into it, because there's one of the songs on the new record that's an intro piece. So I got to change my list around here and put those together. Mm-hmm. Although it's kind of funny, that piece leads right into the track from Firepower just fine.
Wow.
The problem is it doesn't, there's that little and then it starts in. But I'm like, I could mix that and that
easily.
That'd do fine with that song. It's just so crazy. But those 2 records, I love them. Richie Faulkner, I would love to have him on the show. So, I was just thinking about Vega today. I'm like, I've got to get him on the show.
Yeah, Pete. Oh yeah. Pete. You was he on the show for very briefly?
Yes, when we did the On the Road from.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the guy that mixed that Priest album, or mixed part of it, the vocals or whatever.
Man, that because I also want to get a hold of Rob Halford, and there's so many people I want to talk to, and but if you haven't seen it yet, Sam, I put part of it on the show a while back when it was I did the story of Viking Stew and Judas Priest, because I just did it about that. And if you look on YouTube, you can go to Judas Priest 1986 Peoria.
Okay.
And you'll see the backstage interview that I'm in.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. So it's a whole story. They've all heard it. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
But it was a fun part of my rock and roll history, and just a great chance to meet those guys. And so I'd love to talk to them. But I guess Glenn Tipton is making some of the performances and doing a short stint with them, and then then Andy's doing the other things.
I mean, they're the undisputed metal gods. There's really nothing, undisputed.
Amen.
In my book.
Amen. And even if you just take that as moniker, that because that's what we've always said about Rob Halford. He is, in comic book form, the metal god.
Absolutely.
I'm Viking Stew. He's metal god. It's just one of those things. It's your moniker. It's not like we're going, he's a god. Oh, God, he's a god. And you're like, no, that's
he's
not
the metal god. Right.
Yeah.
He's the metal god. I mean, all you got to do is look at Rockstar, right? And in the end, during the credits, their clackboard says metal god on it, because that's what the movie was supposed to be called originally. And it was based loosely on Judas Priest.
It would have been way better named Metal Gods, but that's all right. Well,
yeah, I know, right? Unlike the behind the music. I didn't like the behind the music on.
I think we have a show booked in the UK at with Kicking Valentina coming up in September at KK Steel Mill.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's supposed to be just an incredible venue.
Now, have you read KK's book yet? I have it. Okay. All right. Because
I'll put that on the fly list for
right.
Yeah. Is it good? Is it that good?
That's what they're saying. I have to read them both. I keep thinking about it, Sam, and I'm like, this show's going to continue to get better, and this show's going to do really cool shit. I got some stuff planned, but I've got some things that some days when I think about beating myself up over certain things, which I will say that publicly, because the show is going to get better and I want to do better. I think it's a great thing now, but it'll build and get tighter and like a band, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
And so I'm thinking, you know what though? I still got some things I need to figure out here mechanically, and then I can sit down at the computer and start doing so many things instead of, the last minute crap every time, which is fun. There's fun things about that. But when you're doing all your own graphics and everything like that, that's not always fun. Sometimes you're like
rock and roll radio on the fly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It reminds me of the time I woke up late for my shift at the radio station back in 1986, and which is when I met Judas Priest.
Can't be late to those shifts.
Oh, dude, no. I was supposed to be at the station at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, because you're supposed to flip on all the transformers, right? So everything's warmed up. I woke up, it was 6:55. Oh, it was 5:55, and I went to the station with 3 items of clothing. I had a t-shirt, underwear, and pants. No socks, no shoes. Got in the car, went to the station, flipped everything on. I was a couple of minutes after 6 already, so I'm like, fuck it, just do it all, get everything ready, get your music ready, figure out your paperwork, get all your carts all set up, just like in the movie FM.
Yep.
Looking like 8-track tapes, get all that stuff set up. Then naturally I would come in at 1/4 and do the weather, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, I'd run the news and then do the weather. I'm like, just act like there's something wrong at the station and you fixed it all. So sure enough, 1/4 came, there goes the news, here goes the weather. Not quite sure what's going on this morning. I had a little glitch in the system, but everything's good now. So here we go. And that was it. So it's just like on stage, right, Sam?
Absolutely. You roll with the punches. The show must go on no matter what.
You are absolutely damn right. And it makes for such a great show when you do.
Yep.
Right.
It's off the cuff. It's not rehearsed. It's very good. Yeah. It's on.
I mean, you more than I, but still, I have my own, we all have our stories of what we did or didn't do. And you're like, oh, yeah. But you're like, but when you make it fun, you start, the regret tends to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and people are like, damn, you're funny. I know some of your fans out there have loved moments where you're just like, whoop, fuck that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the best parts, and that's really what we try to do is not have it be so rehearsed that it's mechanical. And I think we've all been to so many shows, where you see a band play one night and the show's exactly the same as it is the next night, and the things you say are the same. And so I think that that's really a big thing with the Midnight Devils is to have it be off the cuff, and what happened to us in the day works its way into the show.
Yes. Yes. And there's a big we know this. Everybody knows this academically, but when you're up there on stage, because we just went through this, because we just had one of those nights where there was appreciative people at the club where we played Saturday night.
Right.
They were wonderful. I loved it. And just like I love every audience that I have, even if they're quiet, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you may know how it is. Let's put it that way. You may know how it is when you're getting started and you get done with a song. You're like, you put everything into it, bam. And they're like crickets.
Yeah.
Those are the times where I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize we're playing on library night. I would have put that into the ad for the gig if I'd have known it was library night.
And
But you can't do that anymore because libraries aren't so quiet anymore.
What's weird that I've noticed is that audiences in different countries or different regions all react differently. So some are very like quiet and reserved, and that's just culturally how they do it. And so you have to like break them out of that habit. Like, no, hey, this is the part where you got to make some noise and clap your hands. And it's always like that. You got to lead them to water.
That's right.
I'll show you how to have fun.
The call to action.
Yeah, the call to action.
Call to action. Brilliant. Yes. And it's always fun when you really feel it. And
Yes.
I know that Facebook is full of moments where you guys are making it happen and you're feeding from the crowd, and then that feeds. I don't think enough. I shouldn't put it that way. I don't know that a lot of people realize that because they're not musicians or performers, that what you give, you get back. Now,
Right.
Also realize there's some bands that don't give back.
Absolutely.
You're like, why don't you give back? Because these people seem to love you.
And you're doing nothing. You look pretty.
Doing nothing.
It looks robotic.
And it's like the best, the best shows aren't the big venue, big arena, whatever. The best shows are the small club with no AC, where people are just swinging from the rafters, sweat dripping everywhere, complete chaos breaking. Those are the best shows.
Yes. Yeah.
The energy. That's plain and simple.
And we have to give that energy no matter what.
Yep.
I
tell it to even, it's something that I take even into the strip club and DJing and throwing that party, is that there has to be that call to action. There has to be an interaction between me and the girl and the audience. Yeah. And so when you get that and that all starts working, like, you got the best party you could ever have at a strip club. That's when it's like magic, and you're like, we're having so much fun. The bartenders dance, everybody. But it's the same idea that we have in rock and roll. It's all the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because that makes me think differently of something that I've said in the past about my working at the radio station. Because your DJ position, you just reminded me of that. And I used to say, you got to go into the studio like you just had sex. And I'm like, no, you really got to go in the studio like you're still having sex.
Yeah.
You don't want to go in like you just had it, because you're like,
I'm tired.
Maybe if it's a cool jazz station.
You're right.
Thank you.
You're like,
in, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that was great. But no, you have to go. That's the way you have to do it. It is. People have already said it. I mean, it's like making love. You're on stage making love to that situation, and that's what it is. Not to make it icky, but
You
sex is
facilitate
addictive.
the party.
Yeah.
You are the party.
Exactly.
And that's all, and that's really what people need. And we've learned this so many times over, is like, you can have a bunch of people there, but unless you tell them, hey,
This is a party.
this is a party, it's time to have fun, you can cut loose, they're not going to do it necessarily. So I'll always be the guy that comes out and says, let's get this going, let's go.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
No matter
Yes,
what time of the day it is. Or I do it at the club too. It's just a natural thing, I think.
Yeah, because you start and part of it is because it is your job,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, if I'm gonna have a good time at my job and do the best that I can at my job, then I need to have fun.
Yep.
So in order to do that, I need you guys
Mm-hmm.
to have fun, which makes it easier on me mentally.
Yep.
Then you're not sitting there. Oh, God.
People are happy, money's flowing. It's just it's a better.
That's like, it's like you want your DJ to be happy. You want your lead singer to be happy, joking, having a blast, because in turn that shines through to everybody else, and it puts that show or whatever performance that we're doing to another level, because the mood has changed.
Yes.
Even if it's fake and you're like, man, I'm having the worst day ever, you go up there and you clear it out.
Paid to party.
And you turn up, you do your job.
That's it. I think one of the major things in there too is that it's like I say, when somebody looks at you, and I don't know if you've experienced this over the years when you were starting out in a band. Did you do covers early on and stuff?
Yeah.
So did you ever? And I mean, I know you guys do a couple of covers here and there now, but did you ever have anybody look at you and go, people don't know that song?
A lot. When we were, Sniper and I were in a 80s hair metal tribute band. The precursor to the Midnight Devils was called 3D in Your Face. And so a lot of those songs, so we were in the band forever. Like I started with that band when I was 20 years old, and I joined full on when I was 26. But the set list would always change and rotate, and was primarily like, okay, you don't want to get bored as an artist,
right?
But also there's certain songs you have to play.
Yeah.
And so it's like you would always think like, okay, we know we got to play Rock and Roll All Night. You got to play Talk Dirty to Me. And it kind of wore on you, but at the same time, that as soon as you started playing those songs, the place would go ballistic.
Right.
And that's what you were there for. So it's like, you don't serve, in that sense, you don't play songs that don't serve the show.
Right.
Like, you don't play the deep cuts because people will be like, you kind of lose them, right? So you got to straddle that line of playing songs that you like as an artist, but that people recognize.
Yes.
We did a ton of songs that we'd throw in and out, songs that would work, we thought would be good, some that didn't work,
Thank you, Sam. So do me a huge favor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a little rude of me and a little selfish. Do us all a favor. Could you tell us, because I have a story about this when you're done. And you know my buddy from Chicago. Do you know Marty Craven?
I'm not sure.
Of him?
I'm not sure.
Okay, he's I am sure your drummer knows him.
Okay.
I think I know that for a fact. I think Jimmy does know him.
Okay.
Because he was in a band called Lounge Puppets.
Okay.
For years he was in that band, but now he's in a Def Leppard tribute band that also plays other covers as well. They're called Rock Brigade.
Cool.
Out of Chicago area. And he told me about some songs that I want to play with him. But in your view, tell us about a couple of songs that you're like, how the hell did that not go over?
Oh man, some were really big. Like the one that we put in that kind of we thought was the coolest ever was Bad Boys by Whitesnake. Just unbelievable song. We play it and it's just crickets. And you're like, wow, I thought that would work, and it did not. So like you kind of get these deep cuts, and like I feel like maybe the average person coming into these shows isn't as big of a music nerd as we are, And so part of that, you're like, or we try like the surprise one was like Winger, She's Only 17. That would go really, really well and surprise the hell out of me. Like Living Color did not do very well.
Cult of Personality.
Aerosmith, like Love in the Elevator, did not go very well.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. You're like, how the hell did that not go over?
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
They didn't like it. Or one that I really love, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Oh, dude.
Man, it was a killer song. What a badass song. And when I see Warrant do it, they slay. And then when we put it in our set, it was a first set song.
Yeah. Because you want to wow them, right?
Yeah. And you're like, it's cool, but for some reason, and then like you think like tempos, they got to be like fast songs. You don't want. Oh, the biggest one. Okay, here's one.
Okay.
The one that we had so much trouble with as a band was "Here I Go Again" by Whitesnake.
Okay.
And for some reason, the tempo, like it's kind of medium, it just didn't work.
Yeah, it's.
Here I go again on my own. For some reason,
you have to speed it up or something.
Yeah,
because it's a little draggy.
Yeah,
But
there's certain songs, and you just kind of figure out which ones you knew and like which ones would be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The two that I always remember, because I told him I still want to get a gig together with him. We did one in our hometown, and it all came about because we went to a class reunion, and there was a band playing, and they knew Marty was in a band, they knew I was in a band, so they put us up there together to do a couple songs. And then I said, let's come back here and do this as a band. Let's just, we thought about hiring a band at first, but then I was like, no, let's just our band. And then our friend Doug can come up and hang with us, and we'll do that too. And he can play a couple of songs because maybe he doesn't feel comfortable doing a whole gig, right? So then I told him, I said, we got to do this again, man. We have got to do this again sometime. I don't want to live the rest of my life doing that once.
Yeah.
Because Marty is my oldest friend. He is a guy that I've known the longest of all of my friends. And and I told him, I said, here's a few songs that I've been thinking about. I said, Whole Lot of Rosie. And he goes, and immediately he says what we're saying. He goes, doesn't go over. I go, well, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. What?
We used to do it.
See? And he goes, it doesn't go over. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And he goes, yep. No, I don't know what. I don't know. We did it, and it did not go over. So
AC/DC.
I about shit. And then I said, and I want to do, I was thinking maybe we could do Don't Tell Me You Love Me. And he goes, doesn't go over. I go, wait, what? Goes, think about it, Stuart. It's the song that every guy wants to do because it's so kick-ass.
Yeah.
And we got to get up there and play this song because it's so kick-ass. But the women out there don't want to hear Don't Tell Me You Love Me. So
true.
It wasn't working. The guys.
I've never done that one. I've never done Don't Tell Me You Love Me. Whole Lot of Rosie we did, and we did it as like an extended guitar solo type of.
Yeah.
And it was good because the energy that we brought to it, I thought. But I would agree. It's a only AC/DC fans know it.
Yeah. And it kind of depends on what else you're putting it with.
Yep.
Right? If it's in your band, that might be a little bit better because you guys have a little more of a punk edge.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a punk hard rock tune.
Yep.
And it's cheeky. So, but if you're
girl on stage is great.
Oh, that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. So if you got this cheeky thing going, then that one totally fits.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a bunch of other hair metal and like they were doing, and they do it, they did it very well, then it's kind of cheeky in the middle of all this other stuff. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And the women may not want to hear it. I don't know. Not a woman, so I don't know. Carrie, what do you like that song?
Yeah, but I don't know. One of the ones that played live would be.
If you had to pick
I
your
could see it not
AC/DC
being,
songs,
yeah. it's not going to be one I'm like, oh yeah, I really know this song.
Right. Yeah. And let's face it, it's a 70s tune.
Yeah, you're more like Highway to Hell, Live Wire, High Voltage. Yeah, and then if you're sticking with 70s AC/DC, I know. Yeah, I think about things.
Me too. I'm like, and that's where I try to find those songs. And we play Solar Fire by Adrian Smith and Richie Kotzen.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucked it up the other night. And I looked at my guitar. Thank God for my guitar player who looks at me and just laughs. He's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I practiced it today. I know the song. And I totally messed it up there again. And he's like, it's all right. You know,
that's what rock and roll is.
It happens.
Yeah. And nobody cared. Nobody knew. And but, I knew, but, all the same. But I do think about that a lot. I think, okay, this song is something that I love, and I think it would be fun. It's just as fun as everything else. And I think it would be great to put in here because it's something that people deserve to hear.
Yeah.
And it's just as much a party tune as everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I try to come from when I'm picking songs. And, there's a brand new Collective Soul tune and played it for the band. And they're like, yeah, we could do that. That fits us. So, I love doing Black Keys and Wild Feathers, so that way we're not like, we're a classic rock band. We play stuff that's kind of bluesy.
Yeah, with this new record, we had that because going into this new record, we were like, well, what are we gonna do for a cover? And because we did a cover on the last record.
Yeah.
So with that one, it was like a no-brainer. We didn't really have many songs on the table. Working for the Weekend was like perfect. It was brilliant, destined to be. So going into this one, we had like a line of covers that we were like tossing around. What do we want to do? Were we going to do Panama? Chip told us that Panama would be a great song to do. And going into the session, we just didn't have time to nail it down.
Oh,
so the producer, Rick's like, well, you guys need a first single. We need something that's really going to be lighthearted and fun and just instantly recognizable and singable. And so with this album, in lieu of doing a cover.
Wait a minute. Did you do You Really Want to Hurt Me?
No, that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect.
It just seemed like it fit the energy. I don't.
Dude, we were talking on the phone in February. You should have brought this up. But
shit.
So there's this song that, and we haven't really talked about it yet, but it's coming down and we're working on it right now. Is the first single that's going to be released from this record is a song that we didn't actually write, but our producer Rick wrote it maybe 6-7 years ago. And he goes, I think the idea is perfect for you guys. It's very, very lighthearted, tongue-in-cheek. It's funny. And it's a song called Gonna Get Laid Tonight. And so instead of doing a cover, we just were like, let's do this song and make this song our own and release this. So it's kind of almost a cover because we didn't really write it, but we made it our own. And that's
you put your energy into it.
Yep. The first single, the first video, we're going to be shooting the video here in like 2 weeks. So that's what we're doing right now is lining up video shoots and schedules and everything like that to do this at the strip club.
And you are like Captain Segway. That was perfect how we went into this. Just want to let you know you are doing your job, man. That's perfect because that's what you're here to talk about. So that's great, man. I'm glad to hear that. And that's really cool. It takes me back to so many times where bands have had that happen. Ronnie Montrose, I was talking about him and he wrote a song for Y&T and we didn't hear it on that next record because because Geffen got rid of Ronnie on that project, but he wrote New Kid in Town, which sounded so Y&T. And so if you want to hear Ronnie's version, you can check it out on Diva Station. And then on Unearthed, one of the Unearthed collections, you can hear the Y&T version. And so that's cool. It's neat when people write stuff and they're like, I think this is good for you guys.
We weren't going to do it. And Carrie really, I called her one night and the guys wanted to do it. And it's kind of out of my writing style.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just not sure. And I didn't want to put something out that would be disrespectful or something to my family, And I called Carrie up, and I've told the story a million times. I call her up, it's 12 a.m. or whatever, and I'm like, we just had the session. Carrie, sessions are going good, but they want to record this song called Get Laid. And I don't know if I want to do it. And she's like, did you turn your head and look at the wall of gold records? And I go, yeah, I'm standing right next to it. She's like, cool. Why don't you just sing the song? Like, cool. All right. And we did, and it worked so well. And going in with that freedom, like,
right.
It was great. It was such a good moment. And really, I think that this song, the single, is just going to just be like, people are like, that makes complete sense that those guys will put this song out.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I could probably say a million things that would be taken the wrong way. So I probably shouldn't. But there's nothing wrong with that message. I mean, it's not like, I'm going to hump a camel.
And it's like the story of the song it's a really good story. And the story makes sense. And every person on the planet Earth, it seems like they have lived this story when they were younger. When they were 15, 16, 17, 18, we've all been through this thing. Yeah. And, that's all you could think about is like, going to get laid tonight. I'm going to do what I got to do. And I'm going to sneak out of house, and my dad doesn't like it, and my mom doesn't like it. And it's the story that we've all been through.
Yes.
And I really,
go ahead.
That the producer gave kind of a nice, like to me, it's a touching thing that they would give that to want to be on there. So.
And I was like, Stu, as a music nerd, as a self-proclaimed rock and roll nerd, Rick Browdy, our producer, worked with Desmond Child.
That's wild.
So I was like, this guy wrote with one of my heroes and one of the guys that, is like the greatest songwriters on the planet Earth. Like, you were talking, I Was Made for Loving You. We're talking Living on a Prayer. We're talking A Bad Reputation. I don't know, like all these great songs.
Yeah.
And, there's like that Kiss. What is it? 5 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Like if I had no problems.
Yeah. And depending on which story you're talking about, it's less degrees than that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's pretty crazy. Some of a lot of the folks that they worked with or, had a collaboration with there too. And I think also the one thing I wanted to ask you about that track too, is how was that? I mean, because here's the weird thing. So many of those songs that are written, like Russ Ballard's written a lot of songs, right? That other people have done, right? That's I think I could say it this way. Most of his career is other people doing his songs.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody from Uriah Heep to Ace Frehley to Kiss to Molly Hatchet. Well, let's, Molly Hatchet. Did he do a no, Rainbow? I don't think Molly Hatchet ever covered his stuff, but I was thinking of something else. But so when you're doing that, a lot of times these conversations start with, I didn't really want to do this song at first because I didn't know.
That's true.
We
weren't sure about it.
Yeah. Ace Frehley didn't want to do New York Groove.
Yeah.
He ended up with the only one with a top 10 hit.
Yep. And that's kind of what we thought. And we're just like, man, if he feels strongly about this, he's the producer, he's our George Martin, our fourth guy. Mm-hmm. If he feels this strongly about this, he must see something that we don't. So don't question it.
Absolutely.
Just go out and do it and see what happens. And really, that's what this band was based on.
And had you recorded it and it didn't fit,
it
wasn't going to work at it, and it just was so cherry on top, meant to be there.
Yeah, taking that chance and really going out of our comfort zone, which was a really cool thing for me as a songwriter.
Yeah.
And performer was really jumping out of that comfort zone. And he took a few of my songs and he's like, all right, we're gonna rewrite the lyrics. And I was like, you're gonna rewrite spent my blood, and and he turned the songs into much better songs than I had even started with. So it's like getting over that ego and saying, okay, there's you're in the woods and it's hard to see the forest through the trees.
Yep.
Everyone has a proofreader and somebody who, even people who write books write it and then give it to somebody else and it comes back.
Yep.
Yes.
Embellished.
Yeah. That's right. We have a friend of ours here in town that's a novelist, and she just brought us a copy of her new book, and it's one that is not completely proofed through. So she's like, you'll find some mistakes in there. I was like, oh, okay, that'd be fun because I love finding those. I find them all the time because it seems to me that some people who are writing now, they aren't doing what I was taught to do. And I'm like, it's not supposed to be like that. But yeah, when somebody looks at you and says, oh, we need to change the lyrics, you're like, I can imagine you just looking at them, you're gonna what my what?
Yeah. It was a very like I was sweating. I was nervous.
Blood, sweat, and yeah,
and it worked. It worked really well.
That's great. That's great. It's refreshing, because then we learn from that,
Mm-hmm.
because
it only makes you a better songwriter, a better artist at your craft,
and a better person ultimately, because you learn to let go of some things. You're not bowing down, but you are collaborating, and
right?
you're learning what it means to put, two streams together and go, this is cool, man. I'm sorry, but it's like when we used to have sword fights when we were kids. It was okay to cross the streams. But anyway, so yeah, so that's great. So now I do want to ask you this real quick, and I don't want to keep you too long. But when you were finished up with all the songs and things like that, this is where I would always love to be a part of the process at some point, but I don't get paid to do that. But nor do I get asked. But how long did it take you to get your list of songs, how they're going to go?
Ooh, that was a good question. We had finished the record and everything was done, and we did the track listing. I did my own track listing and what I thought was going to be cool, and I sent it to the producer. That was right when M3 happened. So when was that? That was in May,
I think.
Yeah, so early May. So we got everything, kind of all the masters and everything were starting to come in, and then they're like, what do you want the listing to be? And it's kind of that same old song and dance, like you want you want to front load the first half of the record, especially with really poppy sing along catchy songs, powerful.
Oh yeah.
Then the back half are kind of the ones that you got to search for a little bit, and that's really what we did. And I think that especially with this record and the album So Hard It Hurts, like the songs are I've listened to them all a million times. The stories are really cool, and I was coming from each time I wrote these lyrics, and Sniper just killed it with the guitars. Jimmy's awesome. They're just killer songs, and it was difficult to choose a running order. And now we're in the spot where it's like, you never know as the artist, like what are the better songs? Like what are because like people listen to it and they go, well, I like this song and I like this song, and you're like, well, but we picked this song as the single, and you never know.
Yeah.
What's gonna work better live? And nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's all trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like we were just talking about with songs that people even know. You're like, you even know this frickin' song. This is a classic.
Yep.
And you don't give two shits about it.
Yep.
So you're like, interesting. Okay. Which maybe that's what it is, Sam. Maybe that's why certain times I pick certain songs that I know are party friendly.
Yep.
And that people deserve to hear. Because I'm like, well, I mean, I could play this song, but you don't tend to give a shit about it either. And it's been around in your ear for now 30 to 40 years.
Yep. Oh, we do it at the strip club all the time too.
There you go.
Like, man, I play these huge hit songs, and they're not even like rock songs or say AC/DC even. You Shook Me All Night Long. I play it, and I play it as loud as the PA will let me, and I'm singing the words, and I look out and it's like, well, I don't know that people really care. How do they not care? Like if I heard this in a bar, I'd be like, this is the greatest bar ever. But
yep.
But you don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
And it changes. It changes every night. I'll tell you that too.
Do you get to play Highway 69 at the strip club?
Of course, yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, and we're playing the new single now. We played it last night, and everybody's just excited, because we're talking about we're going to be shooting the video, and everybody's invited to the video shoot. And the single is so catchy that it's like you instantly hear it, and you're like, I know what this song is.
When are you doing the video shoot?
Yeah, at the strip club.
And when are you doing that?
About 2 weeks.
Really?
So
Let's talk about that.
We're gonna kind of bring to life the characters that are on the album. So Roxanne's gonna come to life and have a real life person, and then the Pink Bastard's gonna be there, of course.
Oh yes.
And we're gonna shoot it. We're gonna shoot it all right there on a Saturday night inside of the club, right on.
Dude, if I can make it there, can I be on the guest list?
Of course, yes. Everybody's invited.
All right. So what's the date on that?
The 23rd, I believe, is the Saturday, June 23rd.
Okay, 23rd. All right. All right. Let me look into that.
Yeah.
That would be fun, man. Okay. That'd be great. Yeah, because like I say, I believe in you guys, and I would love to be there.
Yeah, it's got, and that's the whole thing, is like we wanted to make it fun and have our fans be a part of it, and that way everybody has like a vested interest in the single, and it's to show how much fun that this band is, how much fun the Midnight Devils are, how much fun rock and roll still is. Thank
you. That's a great way to say it, because you believe in what you've got, but you also believe in rock and roll as a community. It's not, yours is about your piece of that pie. You have to be mindful of it, and you have to believe in it. And you can say that because you have a vested interest in that pie, but that it's still just a piece, and it's a piece of a whole pie. And I think that's the beauty of it. We really stumbled onto something that's very, very cool and very unique to ourselves, which is the fun aspect of rock and roll that I think has been left off, and that people want so bad and desperately at this time, where it's like, we're not concerned about who's the lead singer, or is it a girl, or is it a boy, is the original guy. No, none of that matters anymore. Like we come out and we want to have fun, and it's not just the show. It's like from the moment we set foot into the venue, it's like we're already having a blast, getting into trouble, doing stuff, making stories, and making memories. And then the show happens, and it's even like the bigger highlight. And then there's the after show, and it's like we just want that vibration from the moment, the moment they put the Midnight Devils on the flyer. People are like, oh, we know this is going to be a fun party. If the Midnight Devils are going to be there, the place is going to be going crazy. Yes. And that's like our niche and our little gimmick that we have, that we'll really run into the bank with. And I think but it's needed in this time, because there's so many bands that take it so seriously and take everything so they almost make it where it's not fun, dilute it. Right. Yeah. Because as we were saying, it doesn't matter how many people are in the room. You still have fun. That's you have to about. And it has to be off the cuff, and it has to be spontaneous and dangerous and shocking, and everything you want out of rock and roll. That's why we started this. That's why we got into this to begin with. Yeah. Yeah. Because it may work here, it may not work there, but I'll tell you what, every time I play a gig, if I've got 2 people in the audience by the end of the night, I'm still rocking my ass off, because I want those 2 people to go, wow, we showed up late to this gig. We showed up at like 11 o'clock, and then we were like the only 2 there at the end of the night, but these guys rocked out to the end. They gave everything they had to the end. Yep. So that's what if I were to hypothetically think about a gig happening like that, you're like, that's the idea that we kind of took into the recording of this record. And really, Rick brought that out and is like, your first tracks on the album need to be party tracks and sing-alongs, and really like show how much fun this band is, and have that sex appeal, whatever that sex appeal is, good, bad, it has to kind of have that in there. Right. Because there's that fire, and there's that drive and that passion. And as long as everything comes through with conviction, and you're singing from your heart, and there's truth. I read that. I saw something that was like truth behind your eyes. The crowd can read that. Absolutely. And then they get off on it too. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I was talking to a friend of mine in a local band recently, because he was kind of wondering right before they went on stage, should this be the song we open with? And I'm like, dude, you know what? I think, first of all, the decision's been made that that's what you're going to open with. But you know what? If you get up there and sell it, it's going to be great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what song you open with. Don't get stuck on that. Yep. Only get concerned with selling it. Yep. If you sell it, they'll buy it. Yep. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean don't get up there and go, well, I don't know if we should be playing this one.
Right.
No, nobody's going to buy that.
Yep.
You know, that's the sandwich that nobody wants. You know, make it, even if you are concerned about these meats that you put together, know it's an awesome sandwich.
Yep.
And sell the shit out of it. And people will eat it up.
Yep.
You know, because that's why they're there. Like you said, they're not there to be whatever. They're there to be entertained and have fun.
Yep.
And have fun.
I bought tickets to the show.
Yeah, there you go. And sometimes they don't even know that. You know, sometimes they show up and they're like, I don't know what I want from this. I don't know what to expect. And then bam, you hit them with that. And they're like, oh shit. I didn't even know about the Midnight Devils. And these guys kicked ass. And did I have a good time.
Yep.
You know, and maybe they kicked your favorite band's ass.
Every time. That is the goal every time.
And it should be. It should be. And only in a good way.
Absolutely. You know? Best of luck.
It's the way it should be. It's like I've always said, you know, some people bitch and moan about, well, I booked this gig and then this other bigger band booked a gig that same night. Now nobody's coming to mine. I'm like, well, make your show better.
Yeah.
Make your show something like theirs. I don't have time to do that this time. Well, do it next time.
Yep.
Slowly do it. Build it. Don't just go, well, I can't do that kind of show right now. Okay, well, don't. But make it as good as you can right now. Yep. You know, maybe you go to the thrift store and buy something crazy, you know, and then put that on and wear it and make it a fun show from the thrift store. Well, what do they have at the thrift store?
I gotta get on working on some artwork for the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Australian guys are just getting up and they're starting to hit me up.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we'll let you go. And then let's have you back. And then I'll keep in touch with you about the address for that.
Perfect.
And getting up there to hang out because I would love to do that.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother, for being here today. And then we will see you very, very soon.
Thanks, Stu. It's always a pleasure, buddy.
Take care, brother. Tell Carrie hello and thank you again.
She's working on merch.
Oh, awesome. Nice job.
Thank you. Thanks, Stu.
All right. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right, folks. So that was awesome. So check out the Midnight Devils if you haven't done it yet, or if you haven't had a chance, or however it goes. I know how it goes. I'll talk about something to somebody, and sometimes people talk to me about bands, and they're like, hey, did you listen to that yet? And I'm like, no, I didn't. But that's kind of why I have Sam back on a lot, because number one, you can tell he's a super cool dude, man. He's a good friend of mine. We're becoming better and better friends all the time. So it's always a blast to hang out with him and talk. And the lovely Carrie there was awesome to have here too. And Drew, what's up? Cricket. Is that before I got started? Is that what you're talking about? What's up? Yemen GT. Oh man. So hope you guys are still with me there. So yeah, as I was mentioning, certain things keep happening for Midnight Devils. They have got another, I think it's tours set up for, I want to say in Europe, but then they're doing a Japan tour, kind of like what they do in the UK and in Europe, where it's a certain amount of gigs. Like last year, they had the last tour that they did over in the UK, they had 12 gigs. So they did that all the way from England through into Scotland and over into Ireland, and then back over into Wales area. So it was a neat thing. I really wish I could have gotten over there with them. I'm going to talk with Sam a little bit about the Japan trek and see if there's something I might be able to help him with there. So so then I can maybe help him do some things from the road as well. So I would love to bring those back to you guys and have some fun doing that. So, but yeah, check that out. The new album is coming. I'll keep giving you more information about that. And I'm looking forward to hearing this Rick Brody tune. That should be really cool. The other thing that I'm talking about too is, as I said, there's some things mechanically that I'm trying to get together. I've talked about it a few different times, but I've got some shelving things that I'm getting ready to move around. Tonight's going to be a late night, I think. Either that or I might hit it early and get up in the morning and get started on some more of it in the morning, because we have Go Game Go tonight. So I'm really looking forward to that too. It's our 4-year anniversary. That's crazy. What I need to do is look at the dates of this show, because actually I started the show a couple of years ago. And so I need to look at what that original date was when we were doing that. Let's see. Here's this article. When I did some writing for the journals, I'll just show you this. I'm getting ready to frame this with some of the photos that I have of the band. But here is one of my articles that I had that I did years ago, the Vixen show, when they played right over here at Westport Playhouse many years ago. And I was just thinking about it because I drove by the hotel where they stayed, and I drove down the road to get them a post-show dinner. And we used to have a Steak and Shake right down the way here. Doesn't exist anymore. It got wrapped up in the whole, we don't know how to run a business thing. And they were some of those that got closed. So, but yeah, I said, hey, if you got some money, I'll just go down and grab them some food and I'll just bring it back. I was kind of hoping that it might turn into kind of hanging out with them a little bit more, but I wasn't going to push that issue. I needed to respect the ladies, and they were done with their show, and they got their food. Had a gentleman's moment to go ahead and pick it up and bring it back to the hotel, got it to them. We said goodbye, and then I took off, and they got to eating. So a couple of things here real quick. One of the things that I'm going to be putting together is a table. So I have this table that I've had for years. I got it from an acquaintance of mine years ago, and it's really cool. It spins. So it's going to be a great table for puzzle building, which I don't know if you remember, but I showed it on the show yesterday. I got this end game puzzle I'm looking forward to putting together, but I also have this Avengers one. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about comic books coming up. But then on top of that, in the rock and roll world, look at that. The Best of Iron Maiden. It's so cool. So cool. I love that artwork. Actually, check on Amazon. They have, like I said, if you're an Iron Maiden fan, you have got to go onto Amazon, because they have these really cool shirts that are a lot like this, where it's this kind of stretchy, kind of slick fabric. And they have a ton of Iron Maiden shirts out there. I mean, everything from artwork from the comic books to album art to, how do I want to put it? Some of it's promotional artwork. Like there's the Peace of Mind tour artwork that was on the tour book that I have on a shirt, one of these shirts, and it's front and back. But they actually added some new ones. There's some really cool stuff. I'll put together a quick little video, and I'll show those to you next week. It's going to take me a little time. I think I downloaded most of the images, but like I said, there's brand new ones that they just put out there. And there is one of those. Oh my God. I don't need any more shirts, people. Do you understand this? I don't need shirts. But these shirts are so frigging cool. So what can I say? What can I say? Now, about the table. The table is going to be something on which I'm going to do some of these projects together with you guys. I'll be doing some videos, whether it's showing you things, but this table is going to be a focal point of that. So I'm going to be getting a camera set up on the table and all this kind of stuff. But it needs to be done. But I'm going to put it together with you guys. So I'll be doing some of those videos. Don't know if I'm going to do it live or if I'll record it. But most artists, I don't know if you're aware of this. I think I've mentioned it on the show before. Most artists have what we call a morgue. So I don't know if you've ever heard of somebody having a morgue of art, where in my case, it's everything from when I bought a piece of vinyl. And how about this? How about that? This is a piece of artwork that I found at Hobby Lobby because my beautiful and lovely friend Nita came into town. And and by the way, let me give you her full name because it's Nita Larcher, Loercher, and you can go on Amazon if you've got grandkids, kids that you're trying to find some books that are appropriate and awesome, that deal with imagination and that are just good children's books. Check out her books. It's Francisco is the character. So let me see if I can pull something up here too. As a matter of fact, actually, let me see if I can find something here for you, because I could put it on here and then you could see exactly what it is and stuff. So let me see if I have. Whoop. I hope everything else is going well. I hope you guys have some summer plans for seeing some awesome concerts. We still have, I don't see anything that I've got anything saved. So I can go online though, and I can pull something. We've got one more concert that is planned, and that is the Sammy Hagar show. And so that's pretty cool. But other than that, I had a friend of mine re-mentioned Robin Trower. Robin Trower is going to be in town in September. I may go to see that. It just depends. This summer, I'm going to be talking about a lot of the venues around here to get interviews and stuff like that. So Francisco, it's fun to say. Francisco Children's Books. Well, let's just put in her name, shall we? Nita. See what happens. Yep, there it is. All right. So yeah, I do want to let you guys know about these because she's important to me, and this project is important to me. She's been doing good with it. She's got, I think there's 5 books on Amazon right now, and it's really cute. And the thing that really interested me about the books is that she's an artist. She's a very good artist. However, she hired someone to do the artwork for these books, which is cool. I think that's cool because person's got to know whatever the limitation is at the moment, whether or not you just don't have time to do it all or whatever. But now I'll see if I can pull this in here real quick and show you. So let me see if I can get it in here. And there it is. Should come up pretty quickly. Here you go. There you go. The Cave. That's the first book. So it's The Littlest Goat with the Biggest Adventures. All right. By Nita Beta Luna. All right. There you go. Eva Pfaff is the illustrator. Great books. A lot of fun. So yeah, check those out. If you have grandkids, I'm going to be probably buying the whole set and giving them to my son for their young one too. So anyway, cool stuff. But anyway, morgues, artwork, this table. So I'm going to be putting this together. I'm going to be doing a decoupage on top. That's what it's all been about. So what I did was I brought over some of what I have as a morgue. So these are boxes that I used to get when I worked at a color separator. And these boxes are so awesome. They hold a lot of stuff. And so let me just show you, give you an idea of what a morgue is all about. So this is something that I got at a record store. So speaking of which, if you go to a music store, never be afraid to ask if they have any promotional stuff. Because oftentimes record companies will send promotional items like album flats and things like that. There's another Dr. Seuss moment for the day. And sometimes they'll have album flats, posters, things like that. So this was a little something I got. This was the Steel Wheels tour. Now, I really wanted to get this because I reviewed this show for the journals years ago. So when I was doing that article on Vixen, that's what I was doing. That's not necessary. There's another fun little movie from way back Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland. Somebody may remember this movie. They had a video game for the story. It didn't really go with the movie, but the movie was fun. I think I have it on DVD over there. But it was one of those movies that we did. So you never know when you want to frame something like this in a play area in my case, in a play area for the grandkids, you know, when they come over to visit. Then I have some of these that I printed out on a just a regular printer. There I am with Dennis DeYoung backstage with the short hair and no beard. I was working at the Disney store at the time. A little different, right? A little different. The Batman shirt is still the same. I still have that Batman shirt, the Val Kilmer. But here's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm really talking about. So magazines. You have a magazine like this. All right. I don't know if this is worth anything, whether it will be worth anything. I'm sure it probably is. It's a reader's copy. It's not in great condition, but it's not in horrible condition. It's all here, and it's still stapled, and it's not torn up or anything. But this is what I'm talking about. You find magazines. If you go to the doctor's office, and they may have magazines that you can, you know, you're like, hey, whenever you're done with the magazines, do you mind? And then look, you get these older magazines, and you have all these cigarette ads on them. Yikes. And it says the Surgeon General, yet people still smoke. Here's an old poster that I got when I worked for the journals, because we used to do the movie things. And this is a poster for Renegades with Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips. The boys are back in town. We need to get back into doing that song, but I got to get that bass line right. The one in the middle, you know. Then there's Tommy Shaw doing a face when we were backstage goofing off. I tell you, life is a beautiful thing. And then here's some things that I got at the Disney store. These are great. All right. So you can like decoupage things with these. These are postcards that they used to give out. And so then like we would give them out, I'm sure, at the store so that the kids could write a little note on there and send it back to the store. Collector's cards, where you're not going to get the whole series, but you know, something like this. See how glossy that is? And all you do is you get a magnet from the store, a magnet sheet, and cut them to that size. Use some double stick tape, put that on the magnet, and boom, you got a magnet for a fridge, and you can sell that. Right? It's a good idea. It's a totally bitchin' idea. Now here's another one that you can do the same thing. These were postcards that they were giving out as well. Look at this beautiful Beauty and the Beast card. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. So yeah, that's what a morgue is. So I'm not going to use too much of this postcard stuff on the table because it's too thick and it's raised. But things like this are cool. This Spider-Man 2099. And you know, this is a thinner paper stock. And probably what I would do is I would scan these black and white images first. And I may use this, actually, I'll use this for future information for when I start adding comic book content to this show. Why? Because it's worth it. And here's some more. There's some morgue stuff because I'm a Packer fan. So there you go. Let's see. What else do we have? Look at this. Oh, there you go. There's my lovely wife with Tommy Shaw and JY on stage. Took that photo. More postcards. Lots of postcards in here. But I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put on this thing. Now, here's something that I saved because I thought this was a great idea. Here's something else I saved. Look at this. I got to frame this and put it up. There you go. Beatles. And then, I don't know, maybe, frame it and put more of the album cover down here or something. So it's not the world's greatest print of that album cover, but a print I didn't have to pay for nonetheless. Now, here's the thing that I had an idea, especially because July 4th is coming. I should probably put this together. And I wanted to name this. I wanted to frame it and make a big piece called "You Can Still Rock in America," and use this. So this was from, if you notice down here, it says Metro. This was a graphics company that was in Peoria, Illinois, and we'd get these huge books like this, full of clip art. Now, some of you may know what clip art is, and some of you may not. If you go online and you put in, I don't know, sexy women clip art, you're going to get like silhouettes of women. If you put in dogs clip art, silhouettes, even if you put that in, then you're going to get these cool silhouette of clip art. And so that's what this thing was full of. You'd open this big book. And so this was probably a July issue, maybe. This is a June issue. Oh, oddly enough, 1986. And then it would have things like, if I can find it, I just saw it in here a minute ago. Here's a beautiful thing for the morgue. There you go. Bad, Michael Jackson. See, it's an ad from a magazine. And you can even, sometimes if you find a cool ad like this, it's Musicland and Sam Goody. So even an ad like this could be great for a decoupage project, because it takes you back to when, even those BMG ads, those would be a great idea too. So these are the things that I'm going to tack onto that table, and then it'll be done. And instead of being in pieces in the other room, it'll be together, and I can start using it for the show. Because right now I just don't have spaces made yet to do things. This was another fun piece. Look at this. I worked on this at the color separator barely. I think they were kind of doing it when I got there. Oh, maybe I shouldn't show this, but I need to frame this for my friend. Oh my God, this would be great. She's a Batman fanatic. There you go. This was we were in charge at the company where I worked. We were in charge of doing these Coca-Cola fronts for their vending machines at Six Flags. So this was the Batman one, obviously. So, wow. Okay, we got to use that. That won't be mine for long. That's going to be going somewhere else. And then I like this, when I talk about a morgue, I'm talking about pulling things from anywhere. So this was from a bag. So they had, when this movie came out, they had this bag made, and I was like, oh my God, that bag is gorgeous. Kind of like the bags you get popcorn in sometimes they used to do it that way. You get the bags that were promotional for popcorn, and you just keep them, and then you cut it out, and you got a poster or something you can use to decoupage. And here's another one. This is great. This was a proof as well for Bon Jovi. These Days on Sale. This is another great piece. This was a fun movie. I don't know if I own it or not. I'll have to see if I own it on DVD. The Jetsons movie. So my son and I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show since I've had it on its own. My son and I, years ago, decades ago now, we were supposed to go to see Star Wars. They were going to re-show Star Wars on a Saturday morning for, it was Channel 11 sponsored this, and it was called Pennies for something. My buddy Jeff would probably remember. And so then you would bring in, I think it was 11 pennies, and you got a ticket for the show. Well, they were going to show the original Star Wars. So I was like, awesome. So I took him there. Well, they changed the movie at the last minute, and it was going to be the Jetsons movie. So I don't remember if we stayed or not. Here is something I probably got free from a comic shop or something, but look at this Turtles poster. City at War. When a city goes to war, green turns to red. So, green turns to red. Isn't that like a song or something? Oh, and here's one of my favorite characters. They kind of revitalized him. And I got this at a comic shop. This was cool. I'm a big fan of this character, Deathlock. Yeah, he was a part of Astonishing Tales, was where he got his start all those years ago. Here's where we met an artist that was working on Pocahontas, and they signed that for me. Yeah, I don't see that clip art in here. It must have slid between something, and it's already down in the other books. I'll be going through some more of these, but here's some more stick shots. Here we are with Chuck Panazzo from Styx. And me with, well, there's JY and Todd Zuckerman and Tommy Shaw. And here they are on stage together, singing together, the way it should be. There's one of my favorite shots that I took of them on stage as well. So that's pretty much that. So I'm going to be working on that. That's going to be one of my big projects coming up. I think this is an Aquaman poster that I've had for years. The poster's better than the movies. There you go. When he was wearing blue. What the blazes is that about? And then they put him back in green and cut his hand off and grew his hair out. Longer hair, less hands. Zoinks. And then here is this was an anniversary card. It's a card that celebrates the anniversary of Disney. So there you go. Back when I used to work for them with me short hair and no facial hair. This was a neat place too. I kept this all these years. I was going to send this to my dad, I think. It's a place called House on the Rock, and it's up in Wisconsin. I think it is where it is. It's an interesting place. The problem with it is it stayed the same. They never changed the carpeting. They didn't do any of that. So when we went there, the carpeting was all matted down. So many things were the same, yet so many things were the same but different. It wasn't in good shape. I don't know what's going on with it anymore. I'd be kind of eager to know, because I couldn't believe that they let it get into such disrepair. It was really sad. It was really, really sad. Because I'm like, wow, do you guys just not care about this place at all? Oh, that's a cool card. Look at this one. I love that. The Beast. We took our son to that when he was pretty young. And I was like, man, I hope that doesn't scare the crap out of him when he comes around that chair. Oh, look, it's Snow White. Look, and her skin is so white. Yeah, that's why they call her Snow White. And a lenticular Little Mermaid card. What? This guy is like the early Bruce, I think. So anyway, but yeah, we'll get into that, and then I'll be doing some other short things too. Here's a reminder that because I'm Captain Random sometimes. I just saw this sitting there. Remember to check this band out, Air Race. I am going to get this glare out of here. I got to move the camera. That's the problem. But remember the band Air Race. There you are, Blake. How's it going? Did you get out to Menards yet? I forgot. And I went to my Menards and I forgot. Did I go to my Menards today? No, I went to a different one. But I went to Menards and no, that was yesterday. No, today I went to somewhere else. So anyway, Air Race, check them out. They have this album, which is called Shaft of Light. And then this I Don't Care and Caught in the Fire is the B-side of this. Also check out a song called Heart of Darkness by Heart. I may have mentioned it before, but then Air Race 20 some years later, they came out with their follow-up record, and it's awesome. It's called Back to the Light. So they had Shaft of Light and then Back to the Light. And then their third album was still good. Not as good as Back to the Light, because that album kicked ass. Shaft of Light was a good start. Back to Light was just kick ass front to back. I love it. But when I say that, don't think that I'm telling you it's kick ass like British Steel kick ass. No, it's like kick ass like 707 Megaforce. Because 707 Megaforce, I've said it a million times, it's one of the most least appreciated records in pop rock and pop hard rock, because they ranked right up there with Foreigner and all these other people. Kevin Chalfant was the lead vocalist. He ended up being a part of Shooting Star years later. So that's just the way that is. So yeah. Well, I'll let you guys get going. I will get going. Blake, thanks for showing up here right there at the end. Everybody else who is checking us out, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, because that's how we can build this and get it rolling. So I think I've got some other plans coming up, but like I said, keep your minds on those things that make you happy. Keep your minds on those things that, don't mess with other people. That would be a great thing. It's not Viking Stew centric world. It doesn't revolve around me. We all have to keep our minds about ourselves, but we also have to keep our minds on those next door or down the street or in another country or in a store. Let's respect all those. And I'm going to say it, folks. Can we stop listening to our phones out loud? Please. There's my old man spot for the day. It's just, it's that noise pollution thing. So, but anyway, we've all got a thing, I suppose, right? But I will mention this before I go. I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers out there the other day, and they had a guest on. I guess it was Critical Drinkers, the bar that they had, open bar. I was watching that, and he had some guests on, and they were talking about why movies weren't doing well, like Furiosa. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's the new episode in the Mad Max franchise. Let's put it that way, because Mad Max isn't in it, which that's just strange that they call it Mad Max Furiosa. I mean, you could call it Furiosa. I don't know what they call it. What do they say that it is? Because Furiosa, if you do it as Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, let's see what they call it. Furiosa. There it is. Reviews. Okay, that's what it does say. Okay. So, but there is no Mad Max. So, but it's been getting relatively good reviews. So I'm looking forward to watching it. But they were talking about why people weren't going to see it. And some people may not be going to see it because they're just tired of what people are doing in Hollywood now. Also, the trailer may have them thinking it's another what they call girl boss film, which is where it's not they don't use that term meaning, look, there's a lead female character. That's not what they mean. It means a girl boss movie is like where it's ridiculous, where it's something that I talked about a lot. Well, don't just put a female into a part and make her act as badly as the man that you don't like. You have to differentiate. So when you have a good, strong female lead, just like you can have a good, strong male lead, sometimes you have a good, strong dog lead. Just saying. But male or female, you know, if they don't act a twat, then that's good, you know. So I don't know. But that's that. So look forward to seeing you guys tonight. I'll get out of here so I can get ready. We have our 4th anniversary on Go Game Go tonight. So we'll be hanging with some of our friends tonight and doing that. So chime in, chat at us, and we'll see what's going on. I'm going to check in with some folks and see how they're doing, because I haven't seen a couple of people in here in a little bit, and I just want to make sure how they're doing. So Crimson Cross, I may be giving you an email here soon. I hope everything's going well. All right, guys, for everybody out there, I hope everything's going well. Remember what we always say here. It's one of those things where so bear that in mind and get ready for more fun, because that's what we're going to keep bringing you. Check out Midnight Devils tonight and have fun with it. All right? Take it easy, guys. We will see you soon.